Hello, everybody. We have the final matchup for you this evening. It is going to be iNTACT, a new iNTACT, versus Dogs of War. Two rosters that we have seen around. Oh, I think Mike just disappeared, but
Did I? Oh, I disappeared. Can you
you're
still hear
back.
me?
Yeah, you're back. You're still good. But yeah, Discord's been weird today. But regardless, yeah, it's going to be a great set of matches. It is a new iNTACT roster. The talent is definitely fresh though, and I think the this game is about going to be really close one, Mike. But I think we're off to a knife round already, so we can just jump into end game while we continue this conversation.
Yeah, it's gonna be my first exposure to either of these rosters. I think obviously these are names and players who I've seen around play on LAN, play on different iterations, different rosters. Devine's the name that I'm most familiar with on the iNTACT side now. Devine and Reki, I would say, and then a couple new faces on the other side. Nguyen and Jet, I'm familiar with, and then we've got a couple new faces as well. So we'll see who comes out on top here. It's going to be a bit of a wild card from my impression. But we'll see who can make a good impression. It's going to be a quick push on towards B, and there's a pretty good read here from iNTACT. They got four players all just ready to frag, and they're dropping bodies. Pool's already hit two, and he's looking for more. Player back towards bench. He's going to be able to fight back a little bit. That's Explicit, who's brought it just about even, and now it's all on Bool, who's still claiming lives. Only one more to find. It's a race to the 4K. But Explicit already has four of his own. This would be the full ace for him, and he's looking for it. He's going to close distance. Doesn't have time to get a bomb plant, of course. And so it will prevent him from getting that pistol ace, knock his head from his shoulders, claim the 4K of his own.
Ooh, that was hot. I like that from Bool. Are we going to call him Bool or Bull?
Make a call right now.
I say Bull.
Bull.
Ball.
Bull.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ball.
Bull. All right. Try Bull.
Yeah, unsuccessful side take though from Dogs of War, and they look like Dogs of Peace and that one leaving Bull. I don't know actually. You're gonna have to ask him on Twitter later. But here we go. Execute coming in for Dogs of War. They look only for a bomb pen here. Very minimal investment. Just upgrading the kills for two players. And Rex is looking to start him off with the SMG, but he's only able to find 2 kills before he is removed.
I'm seeing advice from Taco Mike that is Bool, so we're gonna stick to Bool. Jet gonna be hitting his shots, and now this is getting a little bit risky. Bomb plant and it's expensive as well. Jet's probably not gonna find much more, although he's one tap away from taking down Zoinks. I mean that was 1 HP. This had the chance to be a really catastrophic second round. As it is, they get the defuse. They prevent too much of the bleeding, but it's so expensive, Roy. It's not ideal.
Yeah, not ideal at all. And there's almost a third player right there. That was what, a P250 and a Deagle? That's the only things they had, plus the smokes, of course. But the bomb plan means now they have full utility coming to this one. iNTACT, on the other hand, they have Zoinks kind of downgraded still on that bit of a bonus round for him, but the money for iNTACT is pretty much fully used up right here. So this is an important round coming up for both of these teams for that early economic lead. And now mid control. I like that kind of regression coming out from the CT side. Don't really expect them to be on offense, but there they are, kind of getting around towards middle. But when he's kind of lurking on now, but while this is happening, Dogs of War have already started flooding towards the A site with an execute, blocking off all entrances. Good use of utility, and 2 players towards CD spawns have been.
This backstab is perfectly timed. Zoinks is there to stem the bleeding though, so it's not too catastrophic. And it feels like iNTACT have a really good job of getting into position for the post plant immediately for the attempted retake. The problem is they don't really have time for it. Now it's just an M1 and a scout with a man disadvantage, and utility still available on Jet. They're going to be pumping that out in just a moment, but as time ticks down, neither of these players has a kit. They're going to have to get one to try and battle back. Devine dropped. It's just going to be Reki trying to save his gun, and he's getting all the way back towards the other site with that M1. Dogs of War have claimed their first round, and keeping 3 alive, they'll reset the economy of iNTACT, and they'll get started on a good stretch here.
Yeah, it seemed like there's a little bit of miscommunication too between these last 2 iNTACT players, between Devine and Reki. I mean, it seemed like Devine kind of lingered around towards ticket booth while Reki was already kind of running away, possibly repositioning towards that rat hole. But either way, Dogs of War doing a great job. Of course, keeping those 3 weapons alive is kind of the key for profit, right? If you have any less than that, you're kind of losing economy, even though you're winning rounds. But round win nonetheless. iNTACT's going to be using up their entire reserve of cash here. It's going to be a bit of a broken buy, a bit of a Walmart purchase, Mike. They have the buy an M4 and a scout and get an ump. And actually, there's 2 M4s. That's not too shabby. A Deagle for
It's not. It's a little awkward, but they can definitely make it work. A lot of utility being spent here to try and claim mid, but there's actually no bodies in it from either side. They've completely left it alone. It's like no man's land between the two sides. Instead, the hit's going to come towards B. And as I say that, they're going to toss out utility and slow up immediately. So they're changing their minds. They've drawn the rotation. They've drawn the presence over. And instead, it's going to be a move towards the underpass. So Dogs of War, they're a multi-headed dog in this one. They keep changing direction. And that might catch iNTACT off guard. You can see they pushed a player in towards the A ramp. But that's allowed them to rotate one off. And that might not be the right read, especially as the player now gets boosted up in towards the window. This could get very dangerous. They're spread all over. There's a lot of potential landmines to step on.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but you have to understand that Bull towards the A site, he's gaining all the information that iNTACT needs. So as long as he's in that position, they can keep 3 players towards the B site. And now the execute, this is going to give away their intent right here. They can send their players over, and Dogs of War have already taken damage.
There's the shot from Clone. That's a good one. Might have another opportunity as they're rounding the corner, but he's hemmed in by the bench. Just one more tap needed, but he can't quite find it. His teammates are here, but his teammates are losing their life, and that's a nice shot from Insane to take down Reki. All just Bull. He's gonna have to pop out of the market and finds the first, isolates it into a 1v1. He's been impressive so far. He just needs to find one more kill, and he will. Patient in his positioning. He trusts in his aim, and it yields around for iNTACT.
Wow, this is my personal first time seeing Bull in action, but he's already impressing. This is nuts. He's looking very sharp and good decision making. I like that. 3-1 Dogs of War. Luckily for them, they've had ball plans, even though things have been a little bit dicey. That's gonna keep their money going. Actually, wait, they didn't get a ball plan in the last round. It was denied.
They did not. They did not. No bomb plants available, so it starts to drain the cash. They got a little bit to work with, but it's all gonna be out. And it looks like they're going to go for a more straightforward approach this time. They're all set up outside A, ready to throw what utility they have, which, to be fair, is all on Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing. Once they throw this first salvo, they're just going to have to commit and hope for the best. A little bit of flash, a little bit of smokes, a little razzle-dazzle just to get it started, and maybe to see what you can find. But there are 3 players here, and there's not enough to cover them all. So the jungle player will strike one. There's the trade, but it's just going to need to be the guns for Dogs of War, and so many bodies are here to defend for iNTACT.
Yeah, the problem is if they don't go off this wave of utility, they have nothing left to transition to site. Reki's been not cleared out from the triple boxes yet. His position has not been compromised. There it is. He kind of springs off the action, able to find, at least with the support of Bull, able to find 1 kill. Zoinks follows up with 1. Insane. Jet now all answering back. It's down to a 2 versus 2. Absolute chaos on site. But it is suddenly now all just Jet by himself in a 1 versus 2 caught in a crossfire, Mike.
This is tough, such a tough spot. There's just almost no chance he's going to be able to get this bomb down. Has to try and go for the hero play. Isolate one of these fights. Turn it into a 1v1 so he can at least get positioning to punch in the numbers. But they're toying with him. They've got him between the paws. He's just whimpering. Ready for death, and death will come. It's 4-1 now, iNTACT. Apart from that 1 round they let slip, they've looked very strong. And Bull, 11-2.
Yeah.
11-2. 5 rounds in. This kid is nuts.
Did you just assume his age?
You know, I guessed. I guess based on the fact that we're not familiar with him. Let's see if I can verify.
Wow, you're propagating that only young kids have talent. That's
I'm just.
No, just playing. I just playing with you.
I
Oh, Devine is not having a good time in window. He's just been nade stacked. Zoinks, he's farming up a lot of cash, and that is the 4th for him. Bull eventually answers back, but Devine, I think his op might not be recovered. That is lost. Oh, they got it last second. Okay, that's good.
He's 16.
Okay, maybe your intuition is right this time.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. These young kids, they come out of nowhere. They got them nuts aims. Young prodigies.
He has really good movement too. I noticed it when he was in the stairs, just jiggling, and as soon as Jet missed the op shot, he went upwards instead of trying to peek him wide. Good little micro decisions. I like that.
Always good to see. It's gonna be explicit. He tries to get aggressive, and the Molly persuades him that that's not a great idea. They're bunched up at the top of mid. They're expecting something. It's just not quite there. So the concept that might be where the aggression comes from has been put in their brains. Meanwhile, instead, the push comes in towards Apps. Clone actually gets another through the smoke, just tap it away. He takes a little bit of a blood sacrifice from his teammate in the process as well. But with 2 bodies already out, the Dogs of War, they're looking like a pretty meager pack right now. And it's only a minute 10 into the round, Roy.
Yeah, definitely. And look at the setup for iNTACT. They have 2 players pushed up A ramp, so I mean they're in pretty much full control. If Dogs of War come up connector, they have that A ramp. If they come up A ramp, they're kind of caught into a double team crossfire. And if they come up Palace, Blue's already waiting for it. There it is. The spray comes in. That's Win gone down, which leaves just Jet and Insane, and they are split up across the map. Really just gonna come down to Jet here. He needs to find something, Mike. He needs to make this happen.
Well, he's got a decent position. The problem is they're so far past him, it may not matter. Insane's found one. Does he expect the second to potentially be in the same position? Should know that's possible, but Recky's just going to hold and wait for him. Insane's clearing it, and Insane has the shot. That was living up to his name. Just swings around the corner and pops the head. So now at 2v3, this is suddenly more viable with only 20 seconds on the clock. They've got to make their move now. Plan has to come through, and immediately that's going to prompt a response. But Jet gets one from a strong position. Still gotta get this bomb, and it's 10 seconds. Now all it would take is one peek from Clone into mid, and he can deny it. Instead, it'll be Davine through the box who finds it, and that's the round lost. Just Jet to try and save. Gets a consolation, tries to kill at the end at least, but the round is lost, and there's no loss bonus to pair with it.
Yeah, that is unlucky. Luckily for Jet, he gets to keep his weapon at the very least. So they could follow up with this one if they wanted, but they might just go for the half buy here. Kind of keep up the economic pressure onto iNTACT. Who, I mean, yeah, they've been successful winning rounds, but it really hasn't been all that clean, right? Even with a 6-1 lead, there's still no money reserved, relatively.
Jet has a Zeus. I think Gwen bought it and threw it over to him, which is an interesting decision to give the Zeus to the player with the AK, but you know. Crucial part of the buy, of course, right?
Of course. The whole strat's actually gonna end up just being just that.
Yeah. What you do is you run boost somebody with the Zeus just straight out mid.
Ooh, I like that.
He catches somebody. Just a slingshot approach, trebuchet attack.
I like it. I like it. The new meta. We should be strategic, Mike. We're in the wrong business here.
Dude, we're out here theory crafting. That's a perfect molly, speaking of theory craft, just to ruin the day of their stack. They had a very set idea for what they wanted to do, and that molly's like, yeah, nah.
Now Bull's up close and personal and connector, and he might have a free Jet and a bomb, but I don't think you can expect the second player, but Insane with the whiffed deagle shots has given an opportunity for Bull now to double down. There's a potential for a third. It's been spotted, and he's caught in a crossfire, and there it is, all down to Win coming at the Biaps. Nice shot onto Clone. That's 1 kill, but he still has 4 more to go. Job that might be a little bit too hard for one man. A deagle.
Talking about these micro decisions from Boole, he played that one perfectly. I mean, he spotted just the edge of the shadow from, I think it was Jet, pushed up towards the connector, swings, knows he's pushing the wrong direction or looking the wrong direction in that moment, catches him off guard, and from there it's just easy pickings. Now we're at 7-1. And Dogs of War, they haven't looked like they've had an answer in several rounds. I mean, they're looking less like Dogs of War, and they're looking more like my sleepy old 14-year-old dog right now, who's mostly deaf. It's just, it's a little rough.
I wonder what the response is here, because I mean, Dogs of War, they're resorting back to this the executes, right? I mean, these can work, but when it's full utility for iNTACT, that might be a little bit too much to ask to try to get past the utility safely. Of course, the lurker for Dogs of War and Win. He's been doing a pretty good job with the backstabs, but that might not be enough. Again, there's still a lot of utility left here for iNTACT, but here we go. The execute's coming out now. Smokes, flashbangs raining in from above, and they're looking to gain some space towards the A site.
Recky's got the firebox spot, and they no longer have a Molotov to dig him out, so he's going to have the spray here, and that's 2, and that's enough to really wreck their day. Should be good for the post plan as well. There's a little bit of utility to at least push them back towards CT and allow that bomb to make its way towards site if they want to. But Jet is stuck. He's flashed out. He's hesitating a little bit. However, his teammates will be able to get the frag, so it may not matter. That's going to build space, and it's all to Boole. The Wonder Kid himself needs to get this done. He's got 2 to find, one of whom is on 1 HP. He wins out this duel with Jet. Win is just a whisper to be dealt with.
Yeah, I like the movement from Win, repositioning instantly for that headshot angle to avoid that fatal blow, right? It's going to have to be a headshot if you want that kill, and there it is, the headshot angle just a little bit too supreme. Good decision making there from Win, and a double kill on the backstab. That's massive.
So that's a big round to pick up for the Dogs of War, right? When I call them out as a sleepy pup, they wake up and they get their teeth into it. That's what we like to see. A little bit of response here, make this a game. And interestingly, despite winning many rounds in a row, iNTACT, they're already onto the pistols. I mean, that's a little interesting. Armor on 2 players. It's a very conservative buy, to be sure. They had money to sort of force it if they wanted to, but they can give themselves the maximum number of attempts with guns in their hands. So just a little bit of armor, many deagles, and we'll see what they can do.
It seems like Dogs of War aren't really utilizing middle to the full extent, right? Normally we see teams kind of take a majority. They like the fakes, and Reki might actually get caught off guard from the side here.
He's gonna fade away at the right moment, but that's presence shown towards B, and that's gonna distract the majority of the focus, including Reki, so he won't just get caught from the side, he'll get caught on the wrong site. And now they realize what's going on. 2 players have dropped. The jig is up. The bomb site's exposed. The bomb is planted. And this round should be just about lost. The only problem is, to do it, they had to give up 2 rifles. Considering what iNTACT invested in, they may just be fine with sitting on these rifles and take them into the next round. I mean, that's more than enough. With 2 sets of armor and some pistols. Hey, good return on investment.
Very good return on investment. They're more than happy with this. But I really would like to see Dogs of War utilizing that mid control a little bit more and in a more efficient manner, right? They're losing so much to gain so little in these rounds. Yes, it's a round win, but again, you've lost 2 weapons, give that away for free. Kind of executing and kind of forcing the contact plays with no information found. That's always a little risky. It always comes with a little risk.
We've seen a couple times as well where if iNTACT dumps utility towards the top of mid, Dogs of War will just give it the utmost respect, right? As soon as that goes down, they're like, all right, we're not contesting mid, at least not in the early round where we'll wait till later. They don't really try and bully it back. And part of it's been they've been on the back foot with utility. But that should hopefully be changing here so they get a little bit more on their belts. So we'll see if we get them to assert themselves more. And they're doing exactly what you wanted. They're pushing up. They got a player out towards chair already. They're making their way up the catwalk. They are asserting a little bit of control. And you're seeing iNTACT fold back and give them the control they crave.
Okay, so the mid control eventually comes out. I like that. Better late than never. Some gaps, but luckily there's no one really peeking over them. So Dogs of War will have some space to work with, and they seem to be kind of posturing for that B split, right? They have that heavy presence towards upper B. They have mid control. They haven't really have anybody that's kind of went back for bomb yet, though. That might be a little bit weird soon if no one goes back for it. Seems like Jet is already kind of posturing up for that.
We've seen them duel out here early in apartments a lot. Jet, nice read. He's expecting that flank, waiting for it, and the patience pays off. So now they've got players up towards mid. They're going to get the bomb. They're going to start to make their way towards B. The problem is a lot of the CTs are here to reinforce. And Reki's already getting aggressive on the... This could get dangerous. Coming up the underpass, he might have the backstab. It's Nguyen who's watching for it, but he falls off at just the wrong moment. Who's going to get the timing here? It will be Nguyen, who blindsides him as he peeks just a little bit too deep in. But Clone stands strong outside the apps, and now it's just Davine. The last man remaining got one up close. This is the op shot, and he's getting run down. So iNTACT drop another. The Dogs of War, they're making a game of this now. 3 in a row. They are back and ready to duel on Mirage.
Yeah, they are definitely back. They're looking at... See, this is kind of like the power of mid control, right? You kind of force the CTs to do something. Bull, though, got caught off in CT and T spawn. That's a great find, and good awareness from Jets even be ready for that. That's good time, good situational awareness from him right there. But there it is. Now Dogs of War, they have iNTACT down to just an eco. It's gonna be pistols. Clone, the only one with armor, one singular flashbang, and they seem to be stacked towards the B site. So Dogs of War now finally getting that information before they commit to a bomb site. This is the turn of events, Mike. This is the different Dogs of War we're seeing now.
I like it. I like it. And you're seeing the adjustment have to come out from iNTACT. He's just got Deagles in this one. But it's just Bull, who has been ridiculous, but not quite that ridiculous so far this game. One man alone with the Deagle. You just can't hope for much. And he's not going to be able to find anything. So bomb site fallen. Round should be just about over. These pistols are going to try and do what damage they can. But as they get dusted up, they're presumably going to get a little more conservative with the rifles. And it should be a clean round now for the Dogs of War. They're licking their paws. They're settling down by the fire, and they're claiming another round. I'm just gonna keep making dog jokes.
Yeah, they're dogs of peace at the beginning, and now they're really the Dogs of War. No? All right, tough crowd, tough crowd.
No, I like it. I liked it. I liked it. Just, you know, I gotta hit the button to register my response.
5 players alive though. That's a good shape for Dogs of War. You're looking really sloppy at first, but they're really tuning up here.
At the beginning, they were like a bulldog, just sloppy, all jowls. Now they're looking like a sleek Afghan hound, all speed and finesse and grace. I'm digging it.
Wait, what's an Afghan hound? What does that look like?
You never seen an Afghan hound? They're super cool.
Maybe I have. I just don't know
really
by name.
Tall, thin hounds. They almost greyhound-like, except they've got this really long fur. Google it, man. They're nuts.
Yeah, I definitely will. Here we go. Mid control coming out from the Dogs of War themselves. But I think that smoke might have discouraged them from entering mid control. They might have just hesitated a little too long, and now they're uncomfortable taking that away from iNTACT. It was very lightly holding on to it. That smoke's kind of a ruse, isn't it? It's kind of a bluff.
A little bit. He might deliver on that bluff. He misses the shot, though, and now they have to know it's a possibility. A little bit of that smoke getting in his eyes, not going to be able to actually convert the kills. That's going to be opportunity missed for his squad. They're going to be regretting that. They'll give up mid as a result. Considering they're on the back foot in terms of utility, every time they put a smoke down like that, they want to be able to capitalize. Every time there's an opportunity to exploit, they want to be in position to do so. Devine's going to go to a little bit more passive of an angle. They'll actually spot them coming through on catwalk, and there's the shot given to him all the way from window. So first blood is clean, though it took a few attempts. And now the Dogs of War, they're limping. They got a thorn in their paw, and they've got to get on towards B. Looks like they're still committed to the hit, but with 45 seconds, they're gonna change their mind, it seems.
This is a smart decision, honestly. Look at the setup for iNTACT already, right? They have 4 players in this direction. Reki finds 1, traded out by CXEY instantly. But there's still a single solo defender here towards the A ramp. That's bo1. He's pushed up, right? He has all the control that they need towards the A site to kind of keep that B defense strong, but they will have to rotate. Now, I am a little bit surprised to see Dogs of War give up that jungle control and kind of lightly hold connector. This is... Oh, nice read from Jet, though. I like that. There it is, down to a 3 versus 3 now.
That was like the double take from Jet. He's checking that angle right as he starts to pull off, and a player starts to hop out, and it's like, oh, wait, what did I just see? Turns back, gets the op shot. Well done. Now we're in the Bo's plan. They lost their trump card. They lost their ace in the hole. And it's Clone who's alone on site, and they get picked apart. 6-7. Dogs of War running this back in beautiful fashion. They've now got 5 in a row. I mean, they might win out the half.
Yeah, it's very much possible. iNTACT kind of an awkward kind of economic decision right here, so they might just forfeit away this round to Dogs of War, or at least, you know, lower their chances, I should say. Very minimal chances, but chance nonetheless if the Deagles can hit the shot. But Dogs of War looking to tie things up. Now, not only that, but their economy is good enough for pretty much full purchases back-to-back here in these last 2 rounds. So, yeah, there's a potential for Dogs of War to gain a lead in what was an abysmal beginning of this first half. Reki up close and personal. Eagle shot just a little bit off the mark. That's going to be a hit, not in the head. And there's a lot of A control gain, a lot of space found here for the Dogs of War as they look to transition their way in. And insane, nice little angling.
That's that one tracer goes out and you're like, I know somebody's back there. Time to find the man behind the curtain of smoke, and they do exactly that. Nade sailing in as well to make this even more uncomfortable. Clone's actually going to burn alive as a result of that molly and nade. It's just not able to get out of the spot. And there's no chance. It's bo1 again. He's been a little quiet the last few rounds, but considering he started out with like 19 kills in the first 10 rounds, that's maybe forgivable. He needs the rest of the team to build around him a little bit. And it's 7-7. Dogs of War have made an absolute game of this.
Yeah, definitely. It's all going to come down to this round right here. Let's see what iNTACT's up to, though. They have a double op set up. I don't think we've seen that yet.
I don't think so.
So that might be the key. Maybe a little bit too late in the half to give a response, but win the lurker, of course, going quickly down the middle. Actually, that's actually CXEI this time. Switched it up a little bit, but he gets caught off. Now it's the middle pressure eliminated and information gain plus the man advantage. Jet waiting for that peek from Devine. Let's see if he finds it. Nope, Devine knows better. And it's going to be an A execute.
It's a nice spot from Reki. They haven't, I mean, it's a commonly molly spot, right? But they hadn't been playing it all game, so now they exploit it. The hit comes in, the bodies are dropping, and as they get aggressive towards CT, Nguyen will be dug out as well. The bomb is planted, but it's a 2-on-4 retake. They're just going to try and worm their way in and give themselves a chance. It's going to be Jet up in the palace, striking twice. That op is quick, and there's a third. Jet's going huge. Supernova out here, and it's all on bo1. He was the lightning player in the beginning, and he's found one, trying to turn it into a second. Now has position on Explicit, but Explicit will withdraw into his hole. The rabbit is back in the hat, and Bull's just going to stick the defuse. Does he have the time? He does indeed. The balls on this guy to bring through the round.
Wow.
20 kills on the half and a heroic defuse to bring that last round. It is going to be 8-7 for iNTACT.
Wow. What a round by Bull. What a round overall. I mean, there's Jets going ham right there. Got 3 kills with AWP from on top of the Palace. A great position for the Opera, by the way. And then Bull with a 1v2, a kill, and a bomb stick. That, yeah, that's big cojones right there.
Yeah.
I like that. Here we go, though. Dogs of War on the CT. Now, again, they looked a little bit sloppy in the beginning of the last half. They need that early momentum, though. They can't risk their economy falling too far behind to iNTACT here.
So it is going to be the quick head out on towards B. It's only Nguyen to really be able to resist, and he's overwhelmed instantly. Jet's got support from the market, but he's got to wait for his teammates to get in for this post plant. So it is going to be iNTACT in exactly the positions they want to be, with all 5 alive and untouched. Bomb now planted, control of the catwalk, 60 with no chance to get back in. And they're all going to be coming from market. This should just be a shooting gallery, a crossfire that will knock them all down. But Explicit, he's found the first, tapping down Clone behind the van. Problem is, they've still got a lot of ground to cover to get back on towards that bomb. There's many Glocks looking their way. Explicit now in a 1v2. He's got control of the bomb. He's got out, but they're just waiting for that tap to come in, that attempted defuse. He's brought the first, just chasing the fight out towards Catwalk, but Davine can just chill. There's no reason to peek until he hears that tap. And now Explicit comes right to him and gives him a buffet serving of pistol kill. 9-7, iNTACT to claim that second pistol. They should be getting started on the right foot.
Yeah, it's a great start for iNTACT. They're really happy with this one. That early momentum is exactly what they need. Now, of course, iNTACT, and, you know, I've been around Davine for a while. I've seen him in the Toronto scene. I've seen him, you know, at Philadelphia's. I've seen his, you know, several of his teams before. He's more of a structured leader, right? Like, you'll see this in the defaults they're about to run right now as well. Look at this top. This is kind of the traditional passive mid hole, 2 towards B, 1 person clearing underpass, 1 person holding for the B push. And they have that, you know, solo lurk towards the A site. Again, this is signs of structure, right? So if you get that early money, you get that early structure going, that might not end well for Dogs of War. They're going to need everything they can get here. Have to keep that economy low for iNTACT, kind of force their hand to be a bit more aggressive and make more mistakes.
Looks like they've decided the gamble is on towards B. Everybody's here. The problem is there's been no commitment yet. Raki's just waiting to see if somebody will give him something to work with. And Clone is the scout on site. He's found 2, realized there's at least a third there, and that's going to prompt the rotation. They are instantly going to hit A. While there's a player who's wormed his way into the jungle, he won't be able to make much of a stand, and so this site should fall, and it should be a relatively safe post plant for iNTACT. Dogs of War just setting up to see if someone's going to gift them a rifle through the murder hole, gift them something to work with, but there should be no reason for these players to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see iNTACT just only sending Reki in with the MAC-10. You know, that's not a lot of money lost, even if he finds nothing from this. There it is. Bull, Reki closing it off. Pretty clean fashion. 4 players alive. Can't ask for much better than that. That was, whoa. Whose movement was that on the window there? Is that Bull? Did he just do the jump backwards? Damn, I like that.
I wasn't watching his perspective, but that sounds nice.
Yeah, he just did the window jump backwards. That's a little Ronaldinho freestyle right there for us. I like that.
Yeah, someone's been practicing. Got to get that movement down. No, you know, now there's the hop jump on Vertigo that's so critical. If you miss that one, it's insta death. So time to start hopping in those movements there. Top mid taken. As you were calling out the fact that Dogs of War weren't putting too much focus on mid in the first half, well, iNTACT certainly not making that mistake. Immediately they go for the mid control. They put their utility down, they assert dominance, and they start to make their way up in towards the connect.
Yeah, I mean, mid control is such a critical piece of this map, I find. Can't really do much without it. Clone, nice awareness there, and Win is punished for his aggression and his information peeking. But Insane says, I'm not going to let this one slip away too far out of control. So the advantage is taken away and map control is reestablished. But there's only one solo defender right here towards the A side. And he might have 3 players coming at him real soon. But Explicit is falling back for that A retake. Oh, and applying some pressure towards the B site. But he is eventually removed from the scenario, and there it is. Now the utility and the bit of kind of flashbangs and smokes are going to give away iNTACT's intent, and Dogs of War, they're up.
There's a player out towards the bench. He's kind of on an island. Explicit has the edge of the smoke, though, and they're going to feed right into him. Gets the 2K and damage onto the third. It's all just swinks now. He's got to get the bomb. He's got to get it planted. Utility to work with, but he's going to toss it out immediately. Tries to take the first fight, but 6C's just a little bit quicker on the adjustment. And it's going to be an 8th round for the Dogs of War. So 10-8, the guns come out and they reassert themselves. And now, maybe the opportunity to get towards the tie scoreline. We're seeing a similar thing from iNTACT. We saw them do this in the first half, where they had a very conservative save call. They maybe could have gotten a much better buy out of this, but they're going to go ahead and just go for the pistols and the utility. Interesting that Clone actually buys down fairly low, all things considered.
You know, I was just thinking in my head, I actually don't like the safe option here. I think it's too safe. And you could have kept economic pressure. You could have actually picked up, you know, at least 3 AKs right here. Probably a Galil on top of that. So that's 4 rifles right there. But now you have pistols and armor. And a relatively weak buy for this round and an opportunity. But there it is. One player struggling to get out the window. I think that's Zoinks. He just can't get out the window. That's unfortunate. Jet and Win double down. And Jet climbs in. Jet just gonna keep that going for us. And Win eventually shuts the round down. But wow, that was awkward. Like a first date with me, Mike.
And a second date.
No, that one gets a little bit less awkward.
A little bit less awkward. It's just it's a gradient scale.
I mean, I'm just looking at Zoinks. He's just literally just jumping up and down. I'm like, dude, it didn't work the first 3 times you tried that. Maybe you should move slightly to the left or slightly to the right. But he was so lost.
In the bag of tricks. It's going to be nades into ramp to just send Clone skyward immediately, and the molly to burn his body on the steps.
Wait, are they double saving?
Rough right away. They are double saving. I think it's because of Clone's purchase, if I had to guess. They want to make sure they have the buy here. This time it's just going to be deagles and armor. No real utility behind it either. So maybe they're going to get a chance to rip some heads. But considering the situation, it's a little bit awkward to give Dogs of War the tie here. Presumably, barring deagle magic.
Yeah, I mean,
never count out deagle magic.
Yeah, I think if there's a review on how this game kind of unfolded so close, I think this is going to be kind of a talking point for them, right? Like, that was kind of a poor money management. They could have just kept up the pressure. If you're going to save twice, I mean, you might as well just buy up in the first round. Zane coming in from above, takes down Devine, and there it is. A flawless round for Dogs of War. This is why I was kind of criticizing this decision, right? Not that it's a bad decision, right, necessarily. It's just a little too safe for play. I mean, you could have just kept up the pressure. You could have, I mean, even if you had lost both rounds, at least the money for Dogs of War won't be what it is right now, right? They have a full buy. They still have like 3,000, 4,000, 6,000. 2 players almost at 6,000. That's a lot of cash for free, kind of given away by iNTACT right here. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but there it is. Mid control coming out now from the Dogs themselves. I like this triangle setup. One player kind of at an off angle holding down below, and they have the kind of all angles covered, plus the support system with that third player pivoting.
I love this. A little bit of nade just to put the fear into them, to let them know that there's somebody close up. The problem, though, is he presses it just a bit too far, and there's a boost set up to catch him out. Well played by iNTACT. They read exactly what Dogs of War wanted to do, and they set up for the counter. Explicit, though, gets a trade. So that's a presence out, and now the boost up on Catwalk going to yield results as well. They're falling apart in mid. Trades are good, though, and now the CT defense spread a little bit. There's something to work with here. There's a player up in towards ladder. That's insane that they get past him. They got an open path to either sight, and as he tries to walk out mid, that's not going to be the read. Through the smoke and to his death. It's just 2 to either side. Make that 1. Jet, he's got the op, but he's got to find both, and Devine will be punching in the numbers. Jet doesn't realize he's so close already. He's looking for the player to connect there, but it's going to be Pals instead that he's got to be wary of. And Devine will just bolt him to the wall and secure the first gun round for iNTACT. They took a double save, but hey, at least they delivered.
Right, yeah, exactly. Had they lost this round, that would have been a horrible outcome for them, no doubt. Luckily for Dogs of War, the kind of questionable money management for iNTACT has left them with a little bit of extra cash, and that's going to be a double op setup coming out really early on. So that's interesting to see that. Full utility as well for the Dogs. And that's going to make the defense a lot easier. But iNTACT, they seem to be going aggressively towards that B site early on right here. The counter utility has come out from Dogs of War, making this a little awkward.
And nade. That's straight on the Zoinks. That was chunky. Zoinks tries to hop out. Sexy takes him down. And now the rest of his teams are just going to flood through. They'll at least get the trade. The problem is there's still a lot of bodies on site. And they're ready. got this crossfire set up there, just going to be dropping bodies. 60 still around. He's been so deadly this second half, and that won't change at all. Devine now last. Find the first, but he needs 2 more, and they're right close nearby. Tries to pull around. Insane has the angle, and that's the round as well. 11-11. The reset through for iNTACT. It's not as much of a problem, considering new loss bonus, but it's not good. And Dogs of War, for the first time in a very long time, look like they're going to take the lead.
Hey.
First time this game, actually.
Better late than never, Mike.
Better late than never.
Yeah, not only that, but iNTACT's economy is in the shambles. So it's going to be, or it should be, around favoring them right here. And that might be the opportunity to kind of stabilize their economy moving forward. But let's see how well they do, right? I mean, really the general rule is anything more than 1 player dying right here is too many.
Oh, this is interesting. They've got Zoinks all the way up the underpass. No one's been watching it this time. We saw them hold it pretty aggressively in previous rounds. Oh, 60. They've played that boost up spot on Catwalk just one too many times, and Clone is looking for exactly that. So that's a gift from the gods for him. Now iNTACT might have a little bit of an inroad. It's still tough. No armor behind it, but that's going to make it a lot easier. That mid presence is just getting picked apart one by one. This is risky now. There's a path from apartment straight onto site into a bomb plant. Fortunately for Dogs of War, it seems like the bomb wants to head.
Yeah, the bomb's in a ramp right now, actually. It's under fire, and Devine actually comes out on top, and that's a massive loss now for the Dogs of War. Right, we were talking about this round having 1 casualty, but now we're talking about a potential round win for iNTACT. Luckily, Jet is hitting his shots, and I'm not sure what that was, but he just wasn't looking in the right place. I think he might have just timed out, but in win. In an unfortunate scenario now, in a 1 versus 3, unable to find the kill before he's eliminated. And it is iNTACT picking up a full eco. That is unlucky.
He alt-tabbed. Oh,
is that what happened? He alt-tabbed?
Oh, he alt-tabbed. The worst
no.
time. The worst time. You saw the like hesitation where he took the first shot, missed the first shot, took the second shot, realized he hadn't moved, and was like, all right, I'll just line it up. Quick tap. That hurts. That hurts if you're Jet. It's aggression in towards underpass, and Jet's gonna try and avenge his mistake in the previous, the faulty alt tab that always gets ya. But it's Clone who's playing Guardian on this drop rifle, just mowing down all comers one by one, feasting on these ecos. It's all just insane. Who is tucked into the corner, hoping that Clone will get a little too hasty and push in. But it's not gonna happen. Clone backs off. Maybe there's an AK retrievable here.
Hey, mine's coming
what
back.
Can you do with it?
Oh, there it is. A kill. Alright, some economic damage better than none. Plus, if you can save that 8k, that's definitely going to help their money conundrum that they're in right now. Definitely a dilemma. And if I'm... Let me get a quick scoreboard check. I don't believe the Dogs of War have any loss bonus here. Right? They're out. They're back on the normal loss bonus. They might have to save after this anyway. That sucks.
That was a tough pill to swallow. This 1 AK would certainly make it a lot easier, but Reki should be checking for it. He's presumably going to be walking in. The player on site, Bool now knows where he is. That's going to send Reki sprinting his direction. So there's no chance that AK comes through. So yes, it's probably going to be another save. Maybe pistol armor. Maybe you got a little bit of something to work with here. But it is going to be iNTACT on 13. Now stone's throw away from closing out our last map of the night, Roy. It's looking good.
Yeah, they have all the winning conditions, right? They're about to get the 14th round right here. They're going to have their economy looking strong. Devine's the opera of the squad, actually has the most money, almost at 8.5 thousand. But now a hard A push coming out right here. This might be a little bit too confident, but then walking straight into pistols.
The scout can tap away as well. They're having to look every which direction. Now, man disadvantage. They've still got the armor. They could reset. They could just get out of here. Problem is there's a firebox player who might actually be able to catch out Devine, and they're leaving Devine alone. This is a interesting decision considering he's got the bomb on his back, but he will be able to slip back okay, unharried, unchallenged, unchecked. So now they slip back in towards spawn and readjust. Plenty of time to work with, but so many bodies dropped on site, and as soon as these Dogs of War players realize that there's no one here to contest, they're going to be upgrading their weapon rate.
Hopefully that would be the ideal play. The mystery hasn't really disappeared yet. The mist is kind of still there, keeping a question mark above everybody's head. Now, iNTACT, the decision is middle. Normally, I do like this. I do like the mid control. The only issue though is they have so many angles to clear before they can get on a site.
It's tough when you've only got 50 seconds against Eagles,
Right? Yeah. I mean, soon their luxury of walking is not really going to be in their favor, right? They're just going to have to start stomping. Luckily, there's no one really around, so really going to come down to Nguyen here behind the bench.
This could get hairy. Nguyen tucked right back behind that bench. He's going to hear their footsteps, so that's going to trigger the pickup of the weaponry and the start to the rotation. And Devine, he's exposed. That's the bomb found. Now it's all just on Reki to try and salvage a catastrophic round. He's only got 8 seconds to do it. Just has to go for the plant.
Wow.
Knows they're going to face him, and it's Nguyen with the CZ to get it done. Those are stolen weapons. An AWP, 2 AKs. Dogs of War just had a round gift wrapped and handed to them. And that's a major catastrophe.
Dude, if they're gonna get a miracle round, this was it, right? Like they had the one round where Jet Alt-Tab, that was really unfortunate. They threw away an eco, but they just got something back and they got a massive gift. I like that iNTACT is not playing the reserve. They're gonna go for the double Galil purchase, even though with light armor. I'm glad they're not really saving anymore. That's good to see. Dogs of War, though, they might have a chance to tie this up. If they can pick up this round, they'll have the economy advantage, and they might be able to pick up the lead once again. Jet, a tight angle, quick flick, but not quick enough and not accurate enough. Bull looking to jump into the window. Jet's going to hear this. Oh, wait, the gunshot might have masked it.
This is interesting. They've taken presence towards the apartments, but it's really just one player leaving the vanguard. Now they're going to commit players up the catwalk as well. They're overwhelming the B bomb site, but the defense is good. Jet will burn, however, and it's just going to be 6C. They don't clear his spot. That exposes the bomb planter, and now he can wreak havoc on site. Bull is the last alive. He's completely separated from the rest of his team. 55 seconds. He was so impressive at the beginning of this game, and he has cooled off majorly. Well, they need him now. He's found the first. Be able to have the angle as well, but 6C's just toying with him. His teammate can get in. The swap to Galil will betray him. No chance to line up the shot, and he will rest his behind on the sandy tile stones. It's going to be a pause coming out from, presumably from iNTACT, and they desperately need it at this point. Actually, yeah, it was from the iNTACT side. They desperately need it. They need to figure out what they're doing, whether they're going to force here, whether they're going to save, because Dogs of War, they've turned the script. It's their advantage now.
Yeah, exactly. This has been going back and forth nonstop pretty much since the later part of the first half. Now, also, I do want to point out that CXDI is doing really well. I mean, he's at, 24 kills, just a little bit under the 1 kill per round or mark, but it's really just his impact that has been pretty much phenomenal for Dogs of War. And this is kind of a black sheep player, right? I mean, he kind of received a little bit of kind of a weird phase where kind of like people disliked him. They thought his personality was a little bit too forward, but I'm glad he's found a pretty comfortable spot on a good team. I'm glad he's getting his shot regardless of how people might think or perceive him. I know he's a good player. I know he's really talented, and I'm glad to see him kind of finding strides, especially at least in this map. I haven't really seen him play too much, but hey, good start so far.
Certainly is. Now pause going to be running out. It looks like it's the full investment. This is an interesting full investment. Lots of utility. Lots and lots and lots of utility. Light on the weapon. P250s, CZ, and a single UMP against a double AWP, double AUG, single M1 situation. This is a tall task for iNTACT. A little bit of utility exchange towards B, and now they're going to toss it out. Zoink's just trying to gain ground. He's going to bully the player on catwalk, but he's bullied in turn. 6C, the player we were calling out, is delivering again and again and again. Jet's just going to be tapping away with a pistol instead, and at least a bomb plant has been secured for iNTACT. There's still going to be the big guns coming in on the post plant, and Bull's the only player with an actual rifle for his squad. Comes in, they try and get aggressive in towards market, and it's actually yielding fruit. Players dropping, it's all on Explicit. What on earth has happened here? Explicit trying to get back in. He's got the AWP, he's trying to get out, he's flashed, he's blinded, he's just gonna withdraw, and around his iNTACTs. With this force buy, with P250s, with pistol and a single SMG, they're converting.
That's a massive loss here for Dogs of War. I mean, this actually might have been the double reset. This might be game for iNTACT. This was a big round to pick up. I mean, this is sloppy at this point, right? There should not be this many eco wins in one game. This is too many.
It's just so chaotic.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
so chaotic.
like you throw one of these rounds early in the game, you know, when it's like, you know, 5-5, 2-2 in the first 10 rounds of the game, that's not a big deal, right? But when you're hitting that 13-13, you don't really have room for that kind of error, especially on a potential double reset. Luckily for Dogs of War, they can salvage another op in an M4, but Win and Insane are down to just an MP9 and a CZ respectively,
Look at this aggression into the palace. Jet's gonna hit the first shot as well. They go into his spawn there. That's exactly what he was hoping for. The second, he's getting run down and eventually will fall. Still early damage done, and that might set up his teammates for some success, but they don't have the weaponry to really contest. It's all on 6E, really, who's got the big gun, and then Win and Insane gonna be trying to poke and prod from the edges. Spot for Bull, though. He's got Win dead to right. There's just no chance here. He's got to back off the angle. He's playing with them, and he'll actually do great damage. Brings him down to 1 HP, but just needs one more shot to bring it through.
I mean, Dogs of War are playing with fire at this point. They're lingering around. They really cannot afford to lose this AWP and CXEI's hand. Insane is trying to pick up whatever he can. If he can maybe find 1 kill right here, that's great, but I really would like to see him save that AK-47 because that might be all that he has in this next round. Oh, nice flick. I like that. Wait, he has a kit. Oh, the Molotov. That is unlucky.
Molly's just gonna ruin your day, man.
You know, sometimes you mess with the fire, Mike, and it burns you.
Letting the matches just burn down to your fingertips. Feel. That's a single op saved in the hands of 6E. That gives them something to work with here. Just a little something. Otherwise, it's going to be tossed through weaponry, pistols, SMGs, a little bit of armor, tiny bit of utility. This is desperation.
Yeah, you know you're in a tough spot when you have Mike looking for silver linings for you, you know?
Are you calling me a pessimist?
No, I'm just saying. You're really hunting for it here. And that's how you know you're in a tough spot. This is a tough spot, though, right? I mean, it's 15-13. This is the 29th round. iNTACT is 1 round away from taking the map. And all you have to work with is an AWP, umps, and 2 MP9s and a CZ. Luckily, you have some kits available and a tiny little bit of scrap utility, so that can make it better. But as long as iNTACT play this out well and minimize damages here early in this round, I think they have this in the bag.
We saw them struggle with it earlier, though. Both sides have given up rounds they had no business doing. So never say never. As of yet. It's going to be slower play from iNTACT. They're trying to feel out this presence. They've taken mid, and now they know they can let Dogs of War stew. Got the push up in towards the window as well. Bull could just hold this, cut off rotations before they can even happen. Make it really awkward. I think a lot's going to come down to Wen's position here. He's just got a CZ, but if they don't check it, this is a classic spot. He can get some damage done. Oh, the perfect timing. He's got a player with a nade in his hand, but he just doesn't quite capitalize. Now they're going to run him down. He'll still somehow convert the kill. Pick up the rifle and the second as well. The hero play coming out as he locks down the apartments and finds the parcel of C4. Reki now last alive. It's a catastrophe for iNTACT. And Dogs of War keep all 4 up.
What a play by Win. How did he even manage to find 2 kills right there? I mean, let's not take away the fact that CXEI got 3 kills, but that's an AWP, right? That's one thing. But in Win, CZ messes up the first spray, gets spotted early, and ends up with 2 kills. How? How does that happen? That's a massive, massive play coming out from Win at the perfect time. And now they actually might have themselves a shot at overtime. I mean, the economy for iNTACT is not really that intact at all.
It's in tatters. Bull can buy a rifle. He can buy a second as well. Toss them around. So he'll have at least 2 AKs to work with. But otherwise, it's going to be rough. Maybe some MAC-10s, maybe pistols. Depends on what direction they want to go. It's an SMG for 1. I'm expecting to see pistols out from the remaining 2. What's Devine going to do? And this is going to be the question, Roy. Do we round it out in regulation? Or a Dog of War going to complete that long path to OT?
Honestly, I'm not even gonna bother making an assessment here.
Who knows, man?
There are so many rounds where we're like, yeah, this should be a round for this team, or this should be a round for this team. But I mean, these anti-ecos have been sloppy for both sides, and that's the truth, right? They have to tighten up. There's really no more room for error. This is the final round, the 30th round. It's either overtime or lose right here. Dogs of War, 1 round left to bring it into OT. I think OT will be a different beast, right? More money, kind of get your defense set in stone. You don't really have to worry about much. Reset mentally.
We really haven't seen that clean gun round in so long. I don't remember what they look like.
Hopefully Mr. Clean can come out and make this a little bit clean. You know, it's kind of a Walmart purchase for iNTACT, isn't it? Double AKs and Tech 9. You don't really see that often.
It's a real weird one. Let's see. Bomb's going to move in towards Palace early. Otherwise, there's a lot of presence towards the B bomb site. They want to show face. They want to get a rotation through. They're going to send one player out aggressive. That's Zoinks. He's just trying to make noise, trying to do some damage, trying to draw the floating player over. Meanwhile, the remainder of his team is going to roll through the underpass. Zoinks might have done enough here. He's just found a rifle on Catwalk. That's going to draw a serious rotation. They're right off of the site. That's an open bomb plant. And once again, it's looking like an eco might have some outsized impact. Zoinks peeks into the op, but he's going to lose the duel, and that might send players back. But it may not matter. They're already through. The problem is the boost up in towards window was unsuccessful, and now they're getting picked apart by the ops. The timing isn't there. The rifles are against them, and it's all on Clone. The idea nearly worked out, but now Clone is the one player to try and keep his team out from overtime, to try and win this in regulation. He's got 4 bodies to find in 55 seconds in which to do it. 60 hits the op, and it's 15-15. We're going the distance, Roy. We're going OT.
I almost feel bad for Zoinks, though. I mean, he literally played that to perfection. He got a kill. He survived long enough to apply so much pressure that literally all the defense players were at B. iNTACT had the right idea. They had it unfold perfectly. It's just a bit off tempo, right? They're just a tiny little bit too slow. And that cost them. There it is. Now we're in overtime.
It's kind of crazy to me. I mean, 60 just has woken up so much down the stretch. I mean, he's on 31 at this point. 31 kills in regulation after a slow start for the whole team. That's a heroic performance. It's really what's helped to propel his team to this overtime. And the question is just, can he keep up that pace? Because it is really breakneck, and he's sort of dominating the server. Now, first round of overtime, there's already a body dropped and a duel off going on at Palace. This is getting risky. Second player dropped from the defense. The Dogs of War, they're looking a little meager here. It's just going to be Jet holding back towards the ticket booth. The big gun is still up, though he's all the way over on B. We need to come in on the rotation. And it is going to be the straight A hit for iNTACT. They're setting up for their smokes. They're setting up to move in.
Yeah, I mean, hope there's a smoke for CT spawn. There it is. Yeah, I see it now in the air. Jet, though, finds the kill. They're a little bit too early, and Insane finds one of his own. That's it. All things evened up. Jet pushes over towards triple. He's going really aggressive, but that shot was just a bit off the mark. So that means free sight here for iNTACT, but not free enough because the XCI is actually opping all the way from Cat. So there it is. Devine down into 1 versus 2.
Insane. This smoke is going to fade at just the right time. He has the angle just before the bomb can go down. Devine was ready for it, but the timing just did not work out. First round of OT picked up by the Dogs of War. It has been a long slog for them, but they have come to play, Roy. And now, Mirage. We're hitting the 32nd round, and it's double ups on the defense as the Dogs of War look to put this one home.
Man, back and forth, back and forth. This game is honestly the better closure than we could have anticipated, no doubt. We knew this was going to be close, though, right? We called the 50-50 on this one. Here it is, a fast break coming out from iNTACT. They have a lot of utility, but they're just going to go quick tempoed.
Explicit, overwhelmed under the balcony. Players just flooding out like a river on towards site. But Jet's got the gap in the smoke, and he had a great impact with the op in the previous round. He's going to do so in this as well. It's even numbers on the post plant. Gets that bomb down, numbers punched in, and it's good positioning except for the fact that the flank's already coming. 60 is fast, and they're not ready for this. Devine actually might be. It's all going to be up to timing. They're making noise on site to try and distract, and 60 might have the perfect backstab here. Exposed flesh, and he's going to have the first. Knows where the second is as well. Tucking towards Sandwich, and they'll just run him down, not even needing the backstab through. It's going to be 17 for Dogs of War. Double op survives.
They've really woken up, though, huh?
They're looking so good here. This is just a different team from what started the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, aside from, you know, CXI leading the scoreboards pretty heavily, all the players on Dogs of War are pretty much close together. I mean, even with Win at the lowest at 20, he has 7 assists as well as Explicit with 6 assists. So I mean, this is by all definitions a team effort for Dogs of War. iNTACT looking a bit rough right here. They have all the win conditions. They're just unable to convert these post plants into actual round wins. And Zoinks, he's been so impressive on that feeler. He's pretty much found kills almost every single time.
does so again. Question is it enough? Is it enough? I don't know that they've had the opening pick in a little while. This could get dangerous. Although, actually, as I recall, I think they did in the last round. So we'll see what happens here. Now mid control taken by iNTACT. They're going to flex on that. They're going to start to make their way up the catwalk. 2 players ready on the defense. Going to get very uncomfortable hopping out of the apartments, but it won't matter when hops out of the apartments and straight to an op kill. And there's a second as well. Zoinks is out. He's asserting himself on the site. He took the initial kill. Now he's back to claim his territory. The man advantage in the post plant. It's going to be Insane and Explicit to get back in. Insane starts them off well. Bomb goes down. Devine and Zoinks on the defense, but they've already crossed, and they're going to be grouped up in Market, coming out here on Mirage, both from the Market, trying to reclaim this site.
Zoinks in a perfect position for this. He has them to his right, both of them. As if he's not cleared out well, that could be a problem. But nice maneuvering there from Explicit. Buys this team some space. Now it's all down to Devine with the AWP. But Insane is sniffing him out like the Dog of War he is. And it is Dogs of War with the flawless first half of OT. 3-0, Mike. This is a turnaround and a half.
It absolutely is. It's just the dog in them. They don't give up the fight. They're just ready for this. And it's just, it seems like as we get into the marathon stage of this game, they've got an endurance, a gear that iNTACT just don't. They're not standing up to that task, right? It's they're tiring down, they're winding down, they're losing the answers, and Dogs of War just keep finding them. This is such a slog for iNTACT. And now they've got the double up. They've got the CT side, which admittedly they had a lot of success with in the first half in regulation. We'll see if they can have it in OT.
Yeah, again, this is a whole new beast, right? Full money, 16k MR3 means ops are pretty much possible throughout this entire half. So, Zach has all the necessary pieces to make this work. Now, an execute coming out early here from Dogs of War, looking to transition their way onto the site. Smoke, small dog splashes, all raiding in, and Explicit have found the first blood.
They only have to make it work once, and right now they've got the advantage in the position to get the bomb down. Devine's looking for a gap in smoke, but none was really afforded to him to be useful. So the rest of his team is here. They're getting ready for the retake attempt, and that's a great way to start it off. Devine hits the shot in the firebox player. It's a big gun down as well, and Sixy. It's just going to be the remaining 3, and they're sending a flank all the way around towards mid, so if this take doesn't come quick, it may be punished. He's already gotten his way towards Catwalk, and Win has taken first blood. They're trying to find more. Devine's surrounded. He's going to hit the shot, but he's all alone. The IGL has to do it all himself, and he cannot do so. 19-15, Dogs of War close their jaws and take that last round.
Wow. What a game this has been. I feel like I have to take a deep breath after that one. I feel like I just went on a roller coaster ride. Emotionally, mentally, and psychologically speaking. That truly was a display of Counter-Strike. I mean, these are the kind of games that we love, right? These kind of like nail biters. We don't really know which way it's going to lean. I do have to say, though, I mean, that kind of looked a little bit sloppy at times, right? Like, how many ecos were lost in that game? Like 3, 4 eco rounds? Like, rounds that were like super crucial for economy swings, right? These are things that they will have to tighten up against the higher caliber teams, you know, against like the Lazaruses and against like the kind of the upper echelon of teams within Winners League, right? So this was a good game, though. This was at least a kind of a good foot in the water for us and to test it, to see how these teams are, to kind of feel it out, see where they stand on kind of on the rankings. But wow, what a game it's been.
What a game. Nothing if not exciting. I mean, you're talking about failed ecos. It all comes down to that 15-13 round, right? Where you've got Win up in the apartments where he's afforded to even take the first engagement, pull back, kill a player, pick up his rifle, find the second kill, find the bomb, and just send the round all skittering to hell. I mean, that's a great play, but it was a chaotic round to say the least, and what a crazy game.
That was absolutely nuts. But ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the evening for us. NA is done for this week. We'll have updated standings for you guys after tomorrow's show. We'll keep you guys updated to what teams are kind of on the rise, which teams are kind of, at the top of their teams, teams that are at the bottom of the teams, kind of, just keep you updated on what's going on within Winners League, of course, since we are not on HLTV as of right now. But that is it for all of us, guys. Again, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. Mike, it's been a great day of Counter-Strike. We can't ask for more than that. But ladies and gents, please, if you haven't done so already, please do follow our socials. Twitch, Twitter, Facebook for the Winners League, as well as my own and Mike's down below. These are our Twitter @, so please help us out. We're trying to get that baguette, you know what I'm saying? But Ladies and gents, we are out of here. See you guys tomorrow for the EU division officially. And it's been a pleasure. And take it easy.
like this.